I think my trans daughter is transitioning for money. I, 52 male, have 2 children. We'll call Bob 26 male and Meg 22 female. Meg was born male but began to transition to female a year ago. My dad gave my mom a very large and expensive diamond ring for their 30th wedding anniversary, and when she died in 2009, her will stated that everything went to my dad except that ring, which is to pass on to the next born female in our family. I only have one sibling, a brother, and like me he didn't have a daughter, so we just figured one of us would eventually have a granddaughter and she would get the ring. The ring was last appraised in 2004 for $1.2 million. I do not know what it's worth now. Meg and I have always had a contentious relationship. She was always having problems in school, always causing problems with her mom and brother, wouldn't listen to anyone, had never held a job for more than a few weeks, has been arrested for shoplifting. Just been a tough kid to raise. She still lives with us and we're basically still paying for everything. A few weeks ago she said that she wants my mother's ring. I thought she was kidding, but when I said no and kind of laughed about it, she exploded and called me all kinds of names and threw food all over the kitchen before storming out. I wanted to change the locks while she was gone, but I calmed down because I know that would probably lead to a bad outcome. My wife initially agreed with me but has now started to think that Meg should get the ring. I am absolutely not going to give her the ring, and here is why. 1. It would fracture my relationship with my brother. 2. I am not 100% sure that Meg didn't transition specifically to get this ring. She has said several times that we're dumb not to sell it. A lot of people really took issue with this, and it's the reason my post was deleted. While it is very extreme to transition just to get a ring, children have unalived their parents for less money. Meg has already asked her grandparents and us for her share of inheritance. I hate the thought of it too, and I hope it's not true. Even though this wasn't an issue my mother ever thought about, I am positive that she wouldn't want a trans female to have the ring. She wanted the ring to be passed down from daughter to daughter, so that no one could ever lose it in a divorce. Currently my daughter dates women, which could lead to the exact problem my mom wanted to avoid. 4. Someone mentioned she could detransition after getting the ring. I hadn't even thought of that. Even though I'm not happy about it, I am willing to accept my daughter as she is, and I try my best to not dead name her and use the right pronouns. A lot of people said a lot of hateful things about me being transphobic, and if that's how you feel, consider that I still support her. She's on my insurance, and I pay for her medication that insurance doesn't. It's been hard on the whole family, and we're all doing the best we can. Her doctor said that being transgendered may be the reason she struggled so much growing up. And at the end of the day, I just want my kids to be healthy and happy. I don't feel like I'm being an a-hole here, but with my wife starting to question the situation, I thought maybe I'd get some outside perspectives. A couple of additions since people are asking. The ring is in a safety deposit box in another city. Meg doesn't even know who to contact in order to see if she'd be eligible for the ring. In that sense, I am stopping her getting the ring. I am not sure what the exact wording of the will is, but it's a legal document and very specific about how the ring should transfer. If one of us has a cis granddaughter that isn't responsible and would want to sell the ring, I would do all I could to stop the transfer, but unless there are stipulations in the will for that, which there might be, I would really have no choice. I have not told Meg that I suspect she transitioned just to get the ring. I was talking to my wife about it because so many people have mentioned how crazy that is, and it doesn't seem crazy to me, and my wife verbalized it better than I did. She's always treated us, but especially me, like a resource, not like family. Update: I contacted the law firm that set up the will and got some clarification on the actual terms. Long story short, there is language in it that stops Meg from being eligible to claim the ring. There's also exclusions for being gay and for being untrustworthy, amongst other things. In addition to the specific exclusions outlined in the will, anyone can inherit it or be blocked if my brother, my father, and I all vote for it. I remember when my parents set this up. It was such a big deal, it was going to be their legacy. They immigrated to the US while my mom was pregnant with me, and it was very important to them to set down roots. And this was going to be the thing that would bind our family together for generations and keep the story of their trials and eventual success relevant to our bloodline. I hadn't thought about the ring in a long time. Why would I? We weren't planning on having any more kids, and neither was my brother, so that generation wasn't going to get it. So why would it matter what the actual terms were? When my daughter started to transition, it didn't even occur to me that it might make her eligible for the inheritance. That's how far removed from my day-to-day life the ring is. Now that this has all happened, I've given a lot of critical thought to what this ring really is and what it will in all probability accomplish. Honestly, almost all of the comments that I got on here were helpful, so thank you, unless you accused me of naming my daughter Meg because of Family Guy, or said that this is an episode of Family Guy. I have spoken to my brother. I told him that Meg asked for the ring and I said no without even knowing the terms of the will. He agreed that Meg has too many problems to get the ring, and like me, he hadn't even thought about the ring since the will happened. I asked him what we should do if one of our kids has a daughter and she's totally irresponsible and wants to pawn the ring. He agreed that it would be a problem that he wouldn't want. Then I told him that I just don't see this working out the way our mom had thought it would, that depending on the economic conditions by the time it's inherited, It might just be a race to see who can have the first girl so they can sell it and have some security. The further away from my mom it gets, the less sentimental value it has. He agreed with all of my points. I suggested that we sell it and set up a trust in our mother's name that gives all of our kids several payments to make their transition into adulthood easier, maybe a payout at 18, 21, and 30. My brother likes the idea, but the only way we can do this is convince my dad. He's 83 and still pretty sharp, but his wife's memory and legacy is very important to him. So I have no idea if it's something he'll even consider. So that's where we are. Thanks for your input. Edit some additional stuff. The valuation for the ring is for insurance purposes. I don't know anything about jewelry. According to the helpful people here, the ring is worth somewhere between 10% and 80% of that value. I'm sure we'll get a new valuation if we go forward with the sale. I don't really know anything about the ring other than it's a single large diamond. So many hateful people on here talking poop about my dead mom. You are real cool. My mom had some bad, antiquated ideas, but she was a great mom. I had a great childhood and my kids, who she loved very much, also have great memories of her. So enjoy hating on an old dead woman. I'm sure it impresses the other slugs on here. Final update. I spoke to my dad for the first time in nearly a year. I got my brother on and we presented him with what we saw as the problems with mom's ring being passed daughter to daughter. I should mention that after I talked to my brother about establishing a trust that gave all kids and grandkids a payment to help them become adults, he had another idea for the money: sell the ring and use the proceeds to build a house around Big Sur, California, which was our mom's favorite place on earth. Name the house after her and let all the kids' grandkids use it however they want. I liked that idea too, so we were going to propose both to our dad. He immediately shot both of them down. He did agree that it's very possible that whoever gets it will just sell it, and that it could cause strife, but it's her will that it be passed on, and he wants to ensure that her wishes are fulfilled. So that's that. My dad did like the idea of a house in Big Sur for the family, and said he might look into doing that, and asked if we would be interested in helping, which we are, so that may materialize. Here are some updates on a couple of things that a lot of people commented on. Some people said to just wait for my dad to unalived. Not that I want my dad to unalived, and I don't like speculating on his death, but his dad lived to be almost 102, and my dad is in really good shape for an 83, 84 and March-year-old, so he might have another 20-ish years. There was a lot of discussion about how much the ring is worth. My dad is friends with a jeweler in New York who he has done business with for over 40 years. My dad said they spoke last year, and the jeweler offered to buy the ring for $880,000. My dad says he could get more at auction if he wanted to sell, which he doesn't. Lastly, a development that has nothing to do with the original question. I have kicked Meg out of my house. I'm not taking her off of my insurance, and I've given her a month to move out, but I am otherwise 100% done. She has always had a better relationship with her mom than with me, but they got in a fight over a stupid flucking purse and Meg hit her in the shoulder. It left a huge bruise. My wife is shocked and hurt and angry. She can't believe we raised such a brat. I hope that this will help fix whatever is wrong with her, but for now I don't ever want to see her again once she leaves. So that's the last update. Thanks to everyone who commented.